Well, hello guys and welcome back to the channel, and today I bring you as always the review of this week's chapter of One Piece 828 of its name 1 and 2. Finally we get to see Sanji's older brothers 1 and 2, and the Vinsmoke siblings are all presented to us finally, and I can't wait to see the five of them together in the wedding. All the Vinsmoke's childs, Reiju, Ichiji and Niji probably, Sanji and Yonji, all together. How will they interact with each other? In the end of the chapter we see the number one brother saying that he's anxious to see his little brother, and then the number two brother says he's a liar. So is he saying that Sanji is a liar? Is he saying that the number one is a liar for saying that he wants to see Sanji? Does he want to see Sanji and then punch him in the face? Or I don't know. I'm just eager to see how they will interact with one another. Starting as always with the One Piece chapters, we have the cover story, this time around volume 19 of the new cover story from the Decks of the World. Fishman Island, a certain hero's hat is all the rage. And we see Shirahoshi and their older brother Fukaboshi watching some children running around with straw hats, wearing straw hats, and playing as I suppose children do. But anyway, the covers are nothing special. They are cool. Some of them are really cool. This one's a cool one. We see Shirahoshi and Fukaboshi probably leaving Fishman Island for the reverie. So nothing special, not like this chapter, which was very fun. It didn't progress a whole lot in the story, but it did set up for the next chapters, which is cool in its own way, and it was a very funny chapter. Luffy and company interaction with Pudding was a delight to see. It was funny all the way from the beginning, and it begins exactly with each side knowing who they are. Luffy's side learns that Pudding is not only a daughter of Big Mom, but she's the one that's going to marry Sanji. On the other hand, Pudding finally realizes who they are, and they are Sanji's crewmates, aka the Straw Hat Pirates. So, and she starts thinking a lot, and she ends up getting in a trance and pointing a knife towards them. And even though Nami states that they don't want to be violent, Pedro is already grabbing her and putting a sword to her throat. So, after calming down a little bit, she starts to explain the purpose of Big Mom's huge family and the way she exploits her child's weddings to strengthen her own crew. So, I thought, not only did I thought that she only had 35 daughters, which we find in this chapter that not to be true, I thought that those 35 daughters all had a place on her crew, whether it would be division commanders or any other sort of role in the crew. Pudding, I thought, well, she's the 35th daughter. If she's the youngest, of course she might not be in the crew already, so that's why she runs a cafe or something. But after reading this chapter and realizing the organization of Big Mom's crew and therefore family, I completely revamped that idea, and I think that maybe only the eldest childs have a place in the crew, but not even that. Because, and in fact, a little cool detail, Pudding mentions one of her beloved sisters that left home in search for her own love. And we all know who that dearly beloved sister is. It's none other than Miss Lola herself, the one that the Straw Hats met during the Thriller arc, and it's now, supposedly, somewhere in the first half still, but around Water 7. Last time we saw her was in a cover story arc and she was in Frankie's sister's bar with her main crew members. So maybe I don't know if she's gonna come to the wedding or not. We've seen probably Lola's twin sister, so maybe Lola appears by surprise, and maybe she has already a husband. Who knows? It would be cool to see her with one. It would be cool to see her fulfill her dream. So it would be cool to see her appear in surprise and in defense of the Straw Hats more than anything. And so Brooks asks the $1 million question: does Big Mom really have 35 daughters? Which the answer is no. She actually has 39 daughters and 46 sons, which makes a total of 85 children. And my god. And I thought that Pudding was the youngest of the daughters. She's not even the youngest. She has four younger sisters than her, or at least the same age, if maybe. Some people think that the three-eyed girl we've seen when Big Mom was first introduced might be Pudding's twin sister. We actually thought that she would be Pudding. Well, she might be. We haven't seen what she has beneath the hair. It could be an eye. Who knows? But the most interesting detail is that the 85 of them aren't even from the same father. Big Mom has taken 43 husbands, and she's still married to them apparently, because as Pudding says, they make a family of a total of 129 people, and just counting husbands and daughters and sons, because Pudding says down below that some of her brothers and sisters already have their own children. So Big Mom already has grandchildren. So that number, these 129, may be well over 140 or something like that. And so this is quite surprising. This is surprising. I never thought. I already found weird enough that someone wanted to marry with Big Mom. Now I believe that those marriages and their consumption, let's call it like that, they are not of the husband's own free will, I believe. I believe she started that, and then she used the same concept that we know she uses to strengthen her crew with their child's marriage. When she probably took these 43 husbands, was that so they would ally to her whether they like it or not. So let's say that when she started this, she was really just marrying someone by love. But then, as she grew more and more powerful, she started taking more husbands with powerful crews to strengthen her crew in numbers. Because, as Pudding says, the foundation and infrastructure for the Big Mom pirate crew is built around the Charlotte family, Big Mom and her husbands and all the 85 siblings. And so, I wonder to what kind of organizations and pirate crews are the other siblings married? Because let's consider that all the eldest 34 daughters of Big Mom are already married. Take one for Lola, that makes 33. Now, for the sons, it is a little bit harder to make an assumption, because we don't know how many are older and how many are younger. So let us focus only on the girls, which is already enough. We have one that's supposedly married or allied to someone on the Fire Tank Pirates, Capone's crew. So 32, we have one. And what kind of organizations are the other 32 married to? Are they only married to pirate crews? Are they married to, I don't know, because if it's only pirate crews, Don't get me wrong, it would make for a very powerful force, but are there truly 32 powerful crews worthy of joining the crew of a Yonko? Because we know that there are very powerful crews out there, but 32 of them. It sounds weird, but anyway, I believe we have to wait for that. I don't think by a long shot that we'll know all 85 siblings, every 85 children of Big Mom, because now that would take 30 chapters on its own and 30 more to meet all the husbands. So I don't really think that we will get to know the entire Big Mom family. And now we get to the gist of the thing. Has Pudding met Sanji already? And contrary to my belief, she has. Which is, I wasn't expecting them to meet before the wedding. So it was cool. And the way she speaks about him is really, really funny. That this part is what made the chapter today. Because she's totally in love with him. She's totally in love with him. She says that even though his eyebrows are a bit too curly, that he's kind, he's a gentleman. She's in love. She's a girl in love. And even I don't know if it's Chopper or Nami. I do believe it's Nami, even though the speech balloon doesn't really show it all the way. But Nami asks if she's already fallen in love with Sanji, and she gets all flustered. And that's when we get it. Yes, she really is in love with Sanji. And Carrot doesn't understand in that sense. She's in love with Sanji too. So, but that's Carrot. She's an innocent little bunny, so forgive her. And Pedro once again says that she needs to be bound and caged because he believes that she will rat them to Big Mom. But I don't believe so because Pudding is really, really a sweet girl. She's afraid of her mom. We don't know if the other siblings are scared of Big Mom as well. But now she starts dribbling on some, not dribbling, scribbling on on a piece of paper and telling on how everyone in Totland is celebrating the wedding. The Vinsmokes are as well. Mom is excited for the wedding. But she, even though she can't disobey an order from her mom, she always wondered who she would marry to. And then came Sanji, which it was all that her dreamed of. But he said something to her. I really want to marry you, but I can't. I gotta return to my friends. And as the Straw Hats reacted, so did I. Sanji, Vinsmoke Sanji, a womanizer, a pervert through and through, turned down a marriage proposal. He turned down a woman, a beautiful woman at that, but he turned her down. Everyone went bananas with this, and I believe we all went, even though we knew that Sanji wouldn't abandon the crew. But to see this verbalized, to see that he said something like that, it's truly, truly amazing. He really wants to keep adventuring with Luffy and the others. And Purin wouldn't be happy to marry someone who would regret the marriage so deeply. And so she presents the Straw Hats with a route that only her and their siblings know to Whole Cake Island, and that route allows them to reach there unnoticed. One thing that I found weird on this map is that along the intersections, so you have a line and you have another, on the angle there are some numbers. So we begin at Cocoa Island with 1, and then Jam Island with 2, and then 1 again, 1, 2, 2, 1. Are these the number of days that are required to reach? It couldn't be. It couldn't be the number of days, but do these numbers even have a relevance to it? because it sounds like they have, because it couldn't actually it could actually just be something like the number of sensors, because and then we see a square with a circle with three little circles inside of it. Oh no, I get what it is. I get what it is now. It's the log pose indicator. That's the needles they need to follow. I got it now. So from cocoa to jam, they have to follow needle number one. From jam to the other point, they have to follow needle 2. From the middle point to the point beneath Nuts Island and Cheese Island, they have to follow number 1 again. And from that point to the other number, wait, so yes, number 1 again. And then from biscuits to candy and nuts, they have to follow number 2. From candy to near Whole Cake Island, they have to follow 2. And then from there to Whole Cake Island, they have to follow number 1 again. That took a while, but that circle is the log pose and the three needles that they have. And so now I wonder, will they update at a faster speed because the islands are so close? Because we know that the log pose needles update with the magnetic fields. So for them to reach the Whole Cake Island in time of the wedding, the needles really need to update at a faster pace. And out of the blues, some guards came from Pudding to say that as of that moment and until the wedding, she's to cease all work activities in order to get ready for the wedding. And so after picking some provisions and passing through a very, very yummy food stall with choco burgers and pasta and fried chicken. My God, I would love to live in Chocola Town. It would diabetes everywhere. But after they return to the ship, to the Sunny, they find a message written by Peckham's in the bathroom that says "Turn back." Now, why would Peckham's write something like that? My guess is he was captured inside the ship, and before he was captured, he managed to write this message so to warn them to go back. Second hypothesis, it wasn't Peckham's that wrote that, but someone else. Maybe as a way to try to shake them and make them go back, make them forget about Sanji. But of course, that doesn't have an effect because Luffy says they're gonna continue on ahead because things are finally getting interesting. But we see no more of Luffy and company this chapter because now we go to an island on a new world called Broccoli Island. And thank God she's burning because broccoli sucks. I don't like it at least. But we see someone with a white cloak with what appears to be a number on the side. And as we see his face, we see a very stylish hairstyle with a curly eyebrow above the sunglasses. And we find out that he's from Germa, as the guard says, but the number one brother says something wall. And then a soldier of Germa 66 places himself between him and the shooting and takes the bullet for the brother. For his boss. I believe this to be a paramecium psychic devil fruit, which allows the user to command others into doing their bidding. Whether the fact that he says like something like wall can be like that the fruit only works if certain words are used. Like it doesn't work if he says, "Hey, you put yourself between me and the bullet." No, maybe he has to mark someone just for them to obey, and then he says wall. He knows that he has, whether he wants it or not, he has to put himself and protect the user. That's my clue. But then all of a sudden, and without any sort of us realizing it, the Vinsmoke, number one Vinsmoke, is able to almost teleport towards the guard, and he actually turns the gun towards him. But I I don't know. This happens so quickly. There's no indication of anything. Probably when he was being distracted by the guard wall, and then he's able to turn the gun. It was all so quickly. Yes, we know that they have those special shoes that allow them to move quickly, but I don't know. And he's now talking with the second brother, which receives compensation for their job. And they actually ended a war. They saved a country from war. Now, I was thinking about this for a while. What if, in this case, we have been told that Germa 66 are a bunch of warmongers, and being warmongers, they start wars, they fight wars. But in this case, we see them actually ending a war. What if, in this specific case, and maybe many others, what if they were working against the Revolutionary Army? Because we know that many wars around the One Piece world were fought by members of the Revolutionary Army. So, what if this war, the war on Broccoli Island, was being fought between the Kingdom forces and the Revolutionary Army? And then the royal forces hired the Germa 66 to help them win the war. And that's when they sent Ichiji and Niji. It's a little cool idea that I had. Probably not true, but who knows. They are now speaking with someone else about the ceremony, and that we learn that the ceremony will take place in 3 days from there. So assuming that this is happening at the same time that Luffy and the others are leaving Chocolo Town, from 3 days from now, the wedding will take place. And they say that they will be able to reach Whole Cake Island in 2. And then they ask if he's already there, and that's when the brother says, I can't wait to see him. And the other brother says, liar. So, and then the chapter ends with a very, very sad news. There's no chapter next week. Yes, I know. We've only had 3 chapters and already we are having another break. But it's usually like this, 3 or 4, max 5 chapters, and we always have a break. Oda needs it too, so let us hope that chapter 829, which will be released not next week, but on the 19th of June, let us hope, well, not 19th, 18th of June, and let us hope that it will be a very, very awesome chapter. So, that has been it for me for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this chapter as much as I did. Sorry, my god, my English has been declining ever more. I don't know. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Share your opinions on the chapter with me in the comment section down below, as well as your opinions on this video in general. So I say my goodbyes to you. Next week we have a fresh batch of chapters to review, and I will see you next week.